This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So yesterday we were discussing about a topic called as importance of testing, right? And then we had a discussion about the testing done in manual way and automation. So the importance was evenly for client, organization, and as well as test engineer. So in every different perspective, it was necessary over there. Client requires testing to ensure his satisfaction and his reliability on the product which is being delivered from the organization. That line we specified over there, right? And as a test engineer's point of view, it is required to point out the defects which were made by the development, right, developers in the development process. For that purpose, testing, we test engineers required over there. Whereas organization's point of view, right, to ensure the end product is defect free, a quality product, right? So our entire application will be functioning properly or not. So that is what the organization's point of view, we had a discussion over there, right? Then we had a discussion about manual testing and automation testing, the pros and cons which we went on, right? And I raised a question to you also, types of tools. Did you get the answer of the, did you browse it? Did you get the answer of this?
Yes, sir.
How many, sir?
There are 4 types of tools.
4 types of tools. Okay, name them, sir. It will be much better.
Selenium, Qt, UTP.
No, those are the software names. Those are software names, so which we don't want. The number is right, 4 types. But the tools, we use it for functional tools we have, performance tools we have, test management tools we have, and there is a defect management tools. These are the 4 tools. Under this, you are talking about Selenium is a software over there, right? Let me put like this. You said Selenium, UFT or QTP, right? Test complete, and plenty other. Now you have to search it in this manner, different types of functional tools. Then you'll get the nice lamba choda list of software names over there, right? For every type of testing, yesterday we said manual testing. What is our advantage? Can test any type of testing, right? So any type of testing, in a sense, we can do functional testing, we can do performance testing, we do work on the documentation, and a lot of things are there. Everything is possible in manual. Yes, I'm not talking about a time taken process kind of a thing. I'm least bothered about even that also, right? Which I don't want to talk about it. So is it possible or not? That is why. So every type of testing, there will be every type of tool, right? So when we are talking about functional tools, where we said Selenium, so it is purely for functionality testing. It is not going to do performance testing, neither documentation generating over there. When it comes down to the performance tool, there is a load runner, silk runner, JMeter, and so on. Whereas test management work is mean by what here? What is mean by management work?
Data management, database.
Database. That is backend. No, for backend, I don't require any tools. I just require an query language, a database query language I need. more or the less, I will be using an insert query, delete query, update query, some few queries, not more than that. I can use it over the database if at all I'm talking about. So management work will be all about a paperwork, right? Documentation, which we are talking about, where we'll be learning about a tool called as Jira, right? There are tools like Quality Center, which is shortcut called as QC, they call it as, right? And what else they have? Test link they have, and plenty more are there for you, right? So these are only for the documentation purpose over there. And when we said defect management, it is again related to the documentation. Bug reports over here. So bug reports, Bugzilla, even Jira can be used over there, right? The quality center, the QC over here, right? And so on. So these are your different types of tools. Under each and every type of tool, there is a software over there. So as I told you, we will do some comparison between the tools along with our manual over there, right? Let us take up an Excel sheet over here. Sure. So what we'll do is we'll put up one side a manual there, right? Then the other side automation. Under automation, we'll use one tool called Selenium, which we are going to learn about in the further. The UFT tool, right? The other functional tool over there. One performance tool called Load Runner, right? And one management tool where we'll be even learning about a Jira tool that we will have a discussion. This is how we'll do a comparison. You can see all these do come under automation, right? But you will be making yourself a profession over there, right? You're making yourself profession under Selenium functionality testings over there, right? Earlier, we used to do this. If you are into performance, you'll be learning Load Runner. Jira, anyways, it will be covered under manual. So no worries in that case, right? So these are your options, what we have. Let us do the comparisons over there, right? So what are the pros and cons we said? Let us start up with the pros there under manual, and we will do the comparison from manual to these tools over there, right? So one of the pros, like we are talking about documentation, right? We can prepare any document over here, any documents, right? Which is possible in manual. Now, what is mean by any document over here then? Like a client requirement document over there. Client requirement document. What we work on to test engineers, a test case document here, right? A bug report, we can say it as another one, another document, bug report or a defect report, right? Test report, right? All such kind of documents are possible in manual, as we said, right? So all these are being done. Now, either you use an Excel sheet, either you use a Word. Even we can say this Excel also can be considered as a tool itself. Now, when we are using Excel, that means we are not using any tool. Yes, we are using a help of a Microsoft Office over here, Excel tool, that also can be considered, right? Whereas Selenium, no. My functional tool called Selenium is not going to work onto anything documentation, neither my UFT, neither my load runner. Jira, yes, we are able to do this documentation, that we are able to do, right? And the other advantage, we said any testing can be possible. Now, any testing in a sense, what all testings you'll be doing, as we just had a discussion right now, a functionality testing, a performance testing, the working condition of the application, the responses of the application can be done manually. But when we are talking about comparison, Selenium purely for functional, the UFT is also for functional, load runner is only for performance, Jira, no, it is not going to do any testings. It is related to the documentation. It's a web-based tool over there. So it is not going to do any executions onto the applications over there. Now, when you read any books, right, or any web, what do you call those? Web pages, sorry. Any websites related to the Selenium over there, right? The very first line they'll be specifying it is what is Selenium? It is a web application functional tool to test functionalities of an application. The very first line they are making it clear. It is only for the functionality. Apart from that, nothing else I can do it over there, right? So yesterday I gave you one way over there. As a manual testing, I'll be writing some test case, right, based on the requirements. When I put up my automation, right, like Selenium I'm talking about, I'll be generating my scripts over there as per my test cases, right? Now the scripts will be executed. After the execution, you raise a bug over there. Selenium is not able to support, so I need to work on to my manual over here, right? Call up my manual test engineer to do all these things over here, right? The same thing which I'm putting it over here. You write a test case, Selenium will prepare a bug, prepare a scripts, executes them, right? And you will do the documentation, the bug reporting, either in a tool, either in a Excel sheet or anywhere else, whichever the company is comfortable in working on a corresponding tool, right? So that is why Jira is not going to do any testing. Chalo. Anything else? What all advantages we discussed about them yesterday? What else more? Any application. We are not concerned to which type of application. It can be anything over there. Now, types of applications are
web-based software.
when you said web-based, I'll put up into the what do you call this software application. You said web-based, mobile-based. Anything else you have?
Computer based.
Window-based, sir. Sorry for that. Nice answer. Everything is computer-based only, right? But it is all coming under your software applications over there. Sure. Do we have anything else? Hardware applications kind of things? Network kind of an applications? Whatever the spelling, I'm out of the spelling there. Aeronautical application, a robotic application, a scientific application, whatever the spelling is. Can we consider all these applications?
Yes, sir.
These are all coming under your different type of applications. We are into IT structures, so we'll only talk about software application. That is window, web, and mobile-based applications. A window, web, and a mobile-based application. Whereas comparing with Selenium, Selenium will do testing on web application and the mobile application. It is not going to do any testing on window-based over there. Whereas UFT is going to do testing on Windows and the web applications over there. LoadRunner will purely work on web applications. As we said, Jira is not going to do any executions onto the application. So in that case, there is no testing happening itself over there. It is not related to any kind of an application. It is a web page tool over there. You open a browser, you navigate the URL of the Jira and start working onto it over there. That is how it goes on, right? So these are some advantages we said. But what are the drawbacks? The very first drawback which we said right? The major drawback of our manual, not major, the very first drawback we consider of our manual is time taken. Now, why do we have to switch on to the tools? The reason behind this is fast in process over there, right? Right. This is what I will say it as. We are using tools only to overcome the time taken process over there. Is it only for the time taken or anything else? We said we do not get an accurate result over there. Sorry, somebody was saying something. Right. Whereas I will only merge the three tools over there because I cannot give an accurate result under Jira because it is not an executed tool over there. It is a management tool, right? That is what it is. And what else we had over there in the manual side? Repetition, human errors are all are there, right? What do we do is we'll keep aside. We don't want to talk about manual right now. We will compare within the tools itself in this case, right? So before Selenium, there were a lot of tools, or currently there are a lot of tools. Why do we have to switch on to Selenium? Why everybody is jumping onto this tool rather than other tools? What is the advantage over here, right? A small comparison, we will do it. We're not going to the detailed over here, right? Major first advantage is it's an open source tool, free, no paisa required over here. Whereas my load runner, the UFT, the automation tool, functional tool, UFT, the performance tool, load runner, and even the Jira also. These are all your commercial tools, right? So you need to buy a license, a single user license, a multi-user license. Whereas when it comes down to the load runner, what your client says, he wants 100 users to be accessed, then you have a different license. If there is a 500 users accessing, then you have to pay another different license. The number of users accessing to the page, right? The number increases, the license needs to be changed over there. The payment keeps on changing. That is a different issue under the performance tool over there, right? That is one reason we had to switch on. The other reason is compatible with any operating system. So you can able to install the Selenium into Mac, Linux, Windows, or anything else, right? Does not matter over there. Whereas the UFT is purely for Windows-based operating system, right? And as well as the load runner also for a window-based over there, right? Whereas Jira is being a web page tool, right? Web page tool, so it does not require any operating system. It just requires a browser, right? So in that case, again. And when we are talking about browsers, Selenium will support any browser over there. The older version of the browsers or the newer version browsers, anything, it will support over there, right? Whereas UFT will support Internet Explorer, the upgraded version of the Internet Explorer, Edge, the Firefox. That's it. It will not support anything else over there. Now, where is the point of talking about compatibility various browsers over there, which we cannot do it? Selenium is not, sorry, UFT is not supporting, so I cannot use that. That is the reason I had to switch on. Whereas load runner, it is purely for Internet Explorer, right? And over here, I can use any browser also for my Jira, right? So that is another comparisons over there. The language compatibility, the language supporting over here. So I want to write programs in Selenium, either using Java, either using a C#, either using a Ruby, or either using a Python. So it is compatible for any any languages. Which language you people are comfortable, you can get along over there. End of the day, it is all the same result, it will give it to you, right? But vastly used is Java, because Selenium is completely based on Java. So it will be much more comfortable in that over there, right? And most of the part applications are majorly developed based on Java itself. So this comparison, this compatibility will be much more suitable over there. So that is it, right? One here or there, the applications will be developed based on something else, programming language, then you can use it. That is all again based on the company there. Whereas UFT tool, the UFT which is supporting VB scripts and Java. Whereas LoadRunner works on Java, Jira, no language usage over there, right? So that is one another comparisons over here. So these are some reasons you can see why we had to switch on to Selenium. Earlier we used to use UFT, then so upgraded ourselves into this. So one small reason over here, right? You can see the comparisons between the tools and as well as with the manual over there. Is it clear? Got the clarity between the tools here?
Sir.
Sure. See here, there will be a question raised to you if when you're attending an interview over there, right? So in the manual, I'll be teaching you the complete manual side. I'll be dealing with the Jira tool for yourself, because under Agile, we'll be getting along with Jira, because Agile management team will be working on Jira tool. It is a compatible tool for that over there. You in the further, you'll be learning about Selenium. It is done, right? So forget about the rest of the part. They'll be asking you a question, because your CV will be prepared something like this. I have a sound knowledge, a very good knowledge on Selenium. I have a knowledge on manual software lifecycle, software testing lifecycle, blah, 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 and all. You will evenly mention, I have an idea about, knowledge on Jira. So your CV will be something like this now. And you people are attending interviews, right? And I'm an interviewer. I say, we are not using Jira. We are using something QC. What is it your answer will be? You said you have a Jira knowledge, but we are using only QC. What will be the answer of yours now? I think they will not give you this much time to think about. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
What will be your answer? Will you want to go learn QC and come back? Or no? What will you do? Fine. So you went and learned quality center now, right? Updated your CV. I have a good knowledge on Jira and as well as QC. Now I said, I'm not using QC Jira, I'm using Bugzilla now. Now what will be your answer at this stage? You will go learn some Bugzilla again. I said, we are not using Bugzilla, we are using some XYZ tool. In this case, what will be your answer? So take your
Learning
time.
and
Sorry.
combine.
learning and come back to the
You'll again learn the XYZ tool also.
maybe
Maybe that means all your earnings, all the property goes in learning them. When is the time you'll be earning? Learning is good. I'm not saying it is bad to learn all the tools. But you are attending interviews, right? The interviewer keeps on changing. You go to some Infosys, not some Infosys company there, they use their own tool, right? They developed a management tool by themselves. They're using it over there, right? You want to learn the rest of the tools, we are here to teach you. But the tool which is being developed by so-called companies, we cannot deal with that. So where is the point in learning about that tool now? You are attending interview in Infosys. I say, sorry, we don't use any of these tools. We have our own tool of XYZ. I forgot the tool name there, right? Need not worry about that. We are least bothered about that. So I cannot teach you with that. So where is the point in learning that? Sure. Think about that answer. We'll come down to that. Let us continue with our topics there. So we got the clarity over here, types of tools and comparison between each and every tool within themselves over there, right? And let us start up with the next topic called as quality defining. So this was the topic over there we are supposed to start up today, right? So yesterday we said the importance of testing. So everybody is in need of testing, right? Organizations need this testing so that they are able to deliver a defect-free, a quality product. So if it is defect-free, a quality product, the client can rely on to that. So in that case, we will define what is quality over here, right? We'll define the word in this manner by giving some confirmation or by giving some justification. Now, what is it we will judge and what is it we will confirm over here?
Software.
Software. I think so. Client requirements, sir. That can be anything. I'm least bothered it is a software or not. In that software, these client requirements are there or not. That we have to judge over here. We, in essence, who's going to do the judgment over here?
Testers.
That is what it is. So as a test engineer, we will do a confirmation, right? Otherwise, give some justice. We are enacting as a judge now, right? I will do a judge. Yes, the requirements are there. No, the requirements are not there in the product over there. The requirements are there, right? Then I can say it as a quality product. The requirements are not there. We'll call it as a not a quality product over there. So confirmation or justification of client requirements are there in the product or not, right? So for that purpose, it is test engineer responsibility to understand the requirements completely. So as a judge, what is it? There are two lawyers over there, right? They are having an argument between themselves and they submit all the papers related to that case. So as a judge person, what is it we will be doing over here? We'll be looking at those documents, whatever they submitted it. Based on the documents, I'll be giving a judgment. Now, where is that document is? Client requirements. So as a test engineer, right, as a judge, I'm going to judge the client requirements are there in the product or not. Now, in order to judge it, I need to understand those requirements by client. That is why I said yesterday or day before yesterday, test engineer replacing clients over here, right? Because I need to get into the understanding, the thinkings of our client, of the client side over there, but representing to an organization over there. This is what I said. So if the requirements are there, we are talking about quality. If the requirements are not there, then what is it? We will say it as there will be a quality gap raising. Raising between whom? A gap can be raised between client and vendor. That is difference between desired level of quality and delivered level of quality. Now, who's going to decide the quality standards and who's going to deliver the standards of quality?
Desired will be by client and delivered will be our testers.
Testers from the vendor side itself. Representing, we are talking about representing. So we'll put up the vendor over there, right? So client requires so and so quality product from your organization. So organization's responsibility is to make sure that so and so quality standards need to be delivered. Now, in order to deliver the standards, the organization's responsibility will be talking about preparing a quality policy over here, right? Is basically a strategy document over here, which specifies quality standards, right? Which is prepared by the leads for us over here. Now, what will be the quality standards over here? Did you develop your projects in your academies? What happened? Nobody worked on projects in your academies? The electrical, electronic projects, the computer science, IT people. I think even civil people also worked on the projects also. Yes, you worked?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Which standard project you worked on to? Is this so? Did you work on these kind of projects? There are companies who's giving you a service. This is another quality standard, ISO. Something it will be like this, ISO 9001. I don't remember those numbers there properly, right? We are in India, so we keep on buying some products. Why do you check this ISI standard there? Because only for the qualityness over there. There is something, some other quality standard called CMM. Compatibility, I just forgot the name there. You people browse for those names there. I forgot the name, right? So these kind of standards need to be maintained by the organization. So all these standards will be put up into a strategy document by our leads. And when we are supposed to work onto that quality standards, we prepare a plan for ourselves, which we call it as quality plan, right? There are two types of plans over here. One is master test plan, which is prepared by leads over here. Whereas the other one we have is a functional test plan, which is prepared by as test engineer. In other words, which we call it as a test case or document over here, right? So over here, what does this plan specifies over here? What to test, how to test, when to test, whom to test, where to test. So this will be your plan document specified. Now we'll just have an overview of it. We are not going to go into the brief discussion about the strategy document index, neither the plan index over there, right? Because as I told you earlier, we'll be preparing these templates, the documents, when we get into the STLC topic just before writing our test cases. We'll be talking about these plan documents again. Need not worry, we're just having an overview. So what all things you'll be doing testing onto an application? So that specifies what to test. What all you can do testing. And whenever I ask you a question, the questions answers are already been discussed in the previous sessions there. So that is the reason I asked you a question. In an application,
Whether the product is, yeah, application is product is up to the client requirements.
so that is the reason. Yes, up to the client requirement or not. In that case, what is that up to that you have to test them?
Functional.
That is it. So every application does have functionalities, the non-functionalities, the performances, and so on, which are to be tested. How do you do testing?
Using manual or automation.
Manual or otherwise an automation, right? When do you test?
After the application is developed.
After the application developed, that means you don't want to do any testing before the application developed. That means during the development process. At the time of development is being tested, and after the development is also being tested. It is not always after the completion of the process. It is evenly during the process also. I cannot say before. Before, in a sense, the application is not developed. So how can we test? You'll say that. So at the time of development itself, I'll be doing a testing, right? Sure. Will you do testing at the time of development?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So get back to your first day class. What did the developers did? At the time of development itself, they are writing programs. The source codes are being prepared. At that time itself, they are doing testing. Now, I did not ask you who is going to do testing, right? When it is to be tested. So that is my answer there. Whom to test? Names over here. Obviously, the test engineers or whoever's involved there, right? Their names will be here. Right. When do you, sorry, where to test now? Or for your clarity, where all you will be doing testing?
Are those the testing platforms?
When you said platforms, organization using a different platform, client using a different platform. So I have to do testing in both the sections over there. So that is why I put it as within organization, delivered it at the client location. I need to do the testing again over there. So this is how a plan specifications will be, right? So this is how a quality plan will be prepared, right? by our leads and as well as our test engineers, where we are talking about test case preparation. Whereas the quality policy, a strategy document over there, right? If the quality standards are not matching, right? Let us use one word over here, calling it as deviation from quality. How is the product getting deviated from the requirements, and what are the terms you use it under this deviation from quality? The very first term you use it over here is
Defects, bugs, errors.
So we'll come down to each and every one over there. Let us start discussing about defect. Fine, we raised a word. How do we define the word called defect over here? So in the book language, it has been mentioned like this for you. Right. Did you understood about this line now? Because it will be mentioned in your books, in your web pages over there, whichever you're following. Deviation from requirements which is associated with user interface. What did you understood about that line? Tell me now. This is the problem with the books where we follow. Whereas at my simple English, right? That line specifies this point. It is a mismatch between expected and actual values. Did you get anything about this line at least?
Yes, sir.
So what is mean by expected value then?
Expected value is the requirement.
In simple, it says
Client.
client requirement. But who is expecting these values? Client defines these requirements, but who is expecting these values?
Developer.
We are getting paid, we'll do some work. It is we test engineers. We replaced client now. So in place of client, when we are there, we are estimating those values, right? Test engineer estimating those client requirements. How do we estimate them? Based on action over here. 1 second, people. How do I pause it? Right? So these are the values estimated by test engineer based on actions they say. You can call it as actions, either test steps you call it, otherwise you call them as step descriptions over there. I'll explain you what are those names there, right? Let us get a clarity on the first line which is being put in the books over there, right? So user interacting with that application, user interface, right? As a user, me, test engineer, interacting with that application. How do I interact with that application? By using my client requirements, I will interact with my application. And the application is not responding as per the client expectation, then we are considering it as a defect. It is a term used by test engineer over there, right? So expected value, it is client requirements only. So client gives the requirements, leaves the organization. End of the day, we are here to do that. Test engineer is expecting them, right? I'm expecting you people to come at 7:30, but actually your people are coming at 8 o'clock. A general English sentence, I just formed it right now, right? So expected value will be the client requirements based on our actions, test engineers, right? But what is actual value? Is the response or result from application. How is the application responding when I perform some actions? Is it responding the same way or anything else? Anything else, then we will consider it as a defect. Right. So for your convenience, let me put up into an Excel sheet for you. Say like they gave you a task. The task is write test case for we'll say it as pen. We are using an example right from the first day talking about pen. Let us write some test cases for pen, right? So you are supposed to start up with that. So I'll be using some columns, step number, right? Here's my step description, or where we named it as test steps, right? The action, what you're going to perform over here, right? Right. In other terms, is nothing but client requirements only. These are nothing but the client, sorry, not these, my mistake. The expected value is nothing but your client requirement. And the next column will be your actual value, right? Which is the response of application, and the result, either you call it as pass or either call it as fail. Okay. And where we are supposed to write a test case for pen, right? So where do we start from? So I don't want to talk about my pen, talking about the color, the dimensions. I'll make it much more clear. Why don't you just we'll filter all the non-functionalities also, right? The performances also. I filtered everything. I just mentioned it as test case for functionality of pen. Now, in order to do the testing of the functionality, what is to be the very first action done by you test engineers? Step number 1, the action, you'll be putting it in this column. Yes.
Right.
Straight away. Think. What were you doing when you're standing in front of the retailer when you asked for a pen?
Quality, build quality.
Writing.
Brand.
That's what I
Writing,
did.
sir.
I filtered everything. I don't want to talk about the non-functionality like brand. Somebody said quality. The quality you'll be talking about the end of the day when you do all the testings, right? So we just about to start now writing a test case. And for your convenience, I'll just give you a hint. The answer is very silly, but I cannot help you out. That will be the answer. Even you people make faces, I cannot help you out. That is the answer.
Cost.
Huh? Sorry, sir.
Cost.
No.
Is it working or not?
Requirements, sir.
Is it
Yeah,
working
what
or
is
not?
that? You have to do the requirements checking then.
It is writing or not?
In order to write, what do you have to do, sir?
Remove cap.
Is the answer silly there? It is silly, but that is the answer which we have it. Right? Whenever I remove a cap, my expectation is should be available, right? When I remove it, I find my pointer. Right? Yes, it is available. Then what do I consider it as? It is a past one. Let me put that second point in this manner now. Right? I want to remove a cap again. Now my expectation will be different now. Right? Let me put this in this case. Right? I don't want my pointer should be present there whenever I remove a cap. Now, what do you consider it as? Passed or failed?
Fail.
Pass, sir.
It is
Fail, sir.
passed there.
Past.
Sir, passed, sir.
Expected value is
It is matching.
satisfied.
Then it is passed. I said I don't want the pointer. Not available. It is not present there. So it is passed. If at all it is in this kind of a process. Then
That's a fail
Failed.
case.
it's a failed case there, which I'll be talking about. The line over here is defect I'll talk about. If it is even in this case also, it is also failed for you. Somebody mute your microphone, please. Right? Will you consider this also failed?
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want my pointer
Yeah.
whenever I remove a cap. It is there, then it is a defect, I will say it as. Right? So these two are my defect points. Right? So that is what it is. I perform some actions, right? Interacting with that application. How do I interact with that application? Here is my interaction, right? Then after these things, then I will see, right? Scribble on paper, right? Must write. If they mention it as specific color, do talk about that. What color I said, right? Yes, he is writing. Then again, I'll consider it as a pass, right? So this is how we are talking about. This is a just basic format of a test case, not the exact manner. We'll get onto all those things little later. It will take some time. We are just in the initial stages of our class. Clear? Got the clarity on this term called defect over here? Expected actual over here.
Yes, sir.
So I'm interacting with my pen. That is my actions, right? Which we call it as user interface, user interacting with that application based on these requirements, and those requirements are misguided, then we are considering it as a defect term over here, right? In simple terms, the line is being put like this: mismatch between expected and actual values over there. And what are you going to do with this defect? We raised a defect now. What do we do with this defect now?
We report to
We
developer.
will report it back to developer.
We will send it back to the developers. Then in that case, how do you define the term called bug? You're familiar with this word.
So when we are testing, it is called, when we got a bug, it's called bug, sir. When it's error, it comes in the development process.
Is a term of developer. There is no difference between defect and bug for us, right? We test engineers raise a defect. When we send it back to the developers, when they accept it, that means when do they accept it? The defect should be genuine, right? When it is genuine, it is called as bug in their terms. That is how it has been written, right? Defect raised by test engineers will be sent back to developers. When the developers accept the defect, is called as bug in their terms. That's how it is said. When do they accept innocence? It should be a genuine defect over there when we raise it. Clear? The two terms, we keep on using these words right till the end of our complete sessions over there, right? So what I'll do is I'll stop the session over here, right? I'll put the rest of the topics in tomorrow's session over there. You have any queries related to this? Let us have a discussion about this today's topic or any previous topics. Let us have that discussion. Any queries?
Sir, I have not attended first two classes. Can you give a quick glimpse of that?
The links will be provided from the company organization side, sir. You're registered, your name will be in the group. The link will be shared to you in that group.
Okay, sir.
I can only do sending of notes to you all. All these notes, I'll be doing it. So the video recording link will be sent from the man because it is all saved in the cloud over there for the server. So they have the access. Okay. But still, go through those recordings. You still have any queries, you can feel free asking any queries related to those also. Right. Any queries, more people?